Main roads in Lexington are looking much better, but some of these side streets aren't. We'll tell you what road crews are hoping will take care of them.
It was a rough morning for several plow trucks in Boyle County.
It's a beautiful day, a lot of sunshine heating us up very rapidly, but when you're coming from below zero, you don't really get that high. Cold today, gets better toward the weekend, much better later on next week. I'll show you that forecast and these nice warm temperatures coming up.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at Noon.
Good afternoon from WKYT News. What a week it has been. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Barbara Bailey. The snow is no longer falling in the bluegrass, but we're still dealing with the aftermath from treacherous driving conditions to the bitter cold.
Record set this morning again. We should start to thaw out though as we head through the weekend and certainly into early next week. Those temperatures will start to rise. WKYT meteorologist Micah Harris is live at our First Alert Weather Center with those encouraging details.
Encouraging is a good word for it, yeah, because we look toward the next several days, and this is your coldest day in the forecast. You look across the way, there's your Frankfort cam. Things look just fine. Current temperatures, though, yeah, not so much. We're at 19 degrees in Lexington, 18 at Richmond. You go into Frankfort at 20, down toward the southern zones in the 20s, too. Today's forecast will be right around 27. It's a cold day, but you'll get mostly sunny skies, a few clouds mixing in as we make it off into the afternoon. Focus of the forecast, trying to melt away all that snow. It's going to take some time, but I'll show you when I believe you'll start to see all that snow melted on the ground coming up in just a few short minutes.
All right, Micah, thank you. One day after another historic winter storm in the bluegrass, crews are working around the clock to get roads cleared. The main roads are in good shape, but the side roads still snow covered and slick for the most part. This is a live look from Shenaway Road in Lexington. WKYT's Mark Barber is live in Lexington now with an update on the current road conditions. What are you finding out there?
Good afternoon, Barbara and Bill. I'm off of Old Todd's Road, and main roads like this one are starting to look much better, as you can tell, as the temperatures are rising and as the salt is starting to take hold. A lot of the snow is turning to slush, but side streets, on the other hand, are a much different story. In fact, many of them are in terrible condition. Take a look here. This is Bentbout Place. Again, this is just off of Old Todd's Road. And as you can see, still terrible shape right here. Many drivers are spinning their tires until they can get out of driveways that look more like ice skating rinks. Crawling out of snowy neighborhoods, cautious drivers are taking slick streets inch by inch. On Coronado Ridge in Lexington's West End, we found Rita Long with an injured rotator cuff. She isn't able to clear her driveway, so she is still snowed in.
I just been taking it day at a time. The good Lord wakes me up, and at least I'm blessed with a good home.
Road crews say these side streets are still treacherous, but on main roads, they say blacktop is breaking through the snow, and for the most part, they are in fair condition. Even with the help of contractors, road crews tell us they are still having trouble taking care of the slick spots that police say are sending car after car sliding off New Circle Road.
We had some success yesterday, and then we get down to that sleet layer that we got initially, and what we're seeing is that has turned into hard pack and ice.
Rob Allen tells me that their 50-person road crews will continue working their 12-hour shifts probably until early next week. He says that with this being March Madness, they're now hoping that Mother Nature will give them an assist by bringing in some warmer temperatures to hopefully melt a lot of the snow that is still covering these side streets. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. On WKYT.com, you'll find a map showing Lexington roads and how the city prioritizes them for snow removal. You'll also find a list of commonly asked questions and answers about Lexington snow removal.
In Boyle County, it turned hazardous today for several crews trying to clear the snow-covered roads. Two of those trucks ran off of the road near Danville. WKYT's Phil Pendleton reports as we continue our top story team coverage now from Boyle County.
Both of these accidents happened very early this morning. I'm told that while either the sun had not come completely out or while it was still foggy, so visibility may have been an issue. Now, the first crash we came upon was on U.S. Highway 150, where a contracted truck for the state by the Allen Company, full of salt, ran off the road and had to be pulled out of a ditch with heavy equipment. Less than a mile away on Chrisman Lane, another truck, this one a state truck, also ran into a ditch. It took hours for both to be removed.
Just got a salt truck that's off the shoulder of the road here, a lot of tonnage, They brought in a big front end loader in an attempt to pull it out, keep breaking cables, so now they're going to try it again. That's kind of what we got, Phil.
Now this is Highway 150 behind me. I'll step out of the shot. You can see that it's blacktop, but the problem across much of this area is the fact there are so many side streets and secondary roads that are very, very slick. In some instances, the roads are even more dangerous than they were this time yesterday because the white powder has been removed, leaving nothing but a solid sheet of ice on these roadways. In Boyle County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Phil, thank you. And by the way, the state says each of those trucks was loaded with between 6 and 14 tons of salt.
Plows are also working to clear roads in Georgetown. Police there are asking people to stay home as they work to clear main and side roads. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is in Scott County with an update on the progress there. She continues our top story First Alert weather coverage at noon. Hillary?
The work is far from over here in Georgetown, but as you can see by a clear main street here beside me, city leaders say a lot of progress has been made, and they say that is due to the fact, like much of the rest of the state, they now know a thing or two about cleaning up after heavy snowfall this winter. They are calling February's winter storm a dress rehearsal for this most recent weather event. A difficult rehearsal, but one Georgetown Mayor Tom Prather says greatly benefited his community, with now many main roads clear and others in much better shape than after any other snowfall this winter. Crews have been working hard since the snow started Wednesday evening, then through Thursday morning as they tried to keep up as more than a foot of snow piled up. And their work continues today as they now batter bitterly cold temperatures.
Made great progress yesterday, but we're far from being finished. We've got cul-de-sacs and smaller side streets that still need our attention. We have citizens who are still crying out for help, and we're going to try our best to respond to that today.
City leaders say they hope today's sunlight will help the salt start working, as there are still several icy spots out on the roadways. So they are continuing to ask people who do have to be out to be cautious. In Georgetown, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Hillary, thank you. Snow isn't the only problem in some central and eastern Kentucky counties this afternoon. Flooding also now a major concern. High water is covering some of the roadways there. The Red River in Powell County is above flood stage, and that has forced some evacuations. WKYT's Victor Puente continues our First Alert weather team coverage from Clay City.
Water problems are nothing new here in Powell County. For the last few weeks, some people haven't been able to get it because of outages. Now some people have too much of it, with water getting close to their homes. This road was underwater, but it's gone down now, leaving behind a sheet of ice. Pompey Road is still underwater, but that's nothing new for the people who live around here, although it doesn't usually get as high as it did last night. Neighbors tell me the fire department came and attempted to evacuate some of the people living here. They didn't want to leave their home. That water never made it in. Police say the flood level for the Red River in Clay City is 17 feet. Last night, they say it got over 20 feet, cutting off some roads. It's beginning to recede, but it's doing so very slowly, which is unusual according to the people who live here.
There wasn't no way to get across it, you know.
Yeah.
I growed up on Pompey back there. We went through it a lot, but there ain't no way you could have passed it yesterday.
Dispatchers tell me they also have some flooding in Stanton. They say part of Maple Street is still underwater. That, too, is beginning to go down. In Powell County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Victor, thank you. Water has been restored to those customers who lost it during the storms of last week. It's not just here in Kentucky. Most of the country experienced record-breaking cold temperatures this morning as another winter storm blasted states from Texas all the way out to New Jersey. Temperatures are expected to dip below zero overnight in parts of the Midwest. But some good news for the winter weary. All of that cold is expected to start to retreat next week.
The Iditarod certainly could use some of the snow that's been pounding a large portion of the country. The start of the world's most famous sled dog race is being moved farther north in Alaska because there's not enough snow. The same weather pattern that's buried the eastern U.S. in snow has left Alaska fairly warm and relatively snow-free this winter. The race director says, quote, "If I have one more person say to me to move the Iditarod to Boston, I'm going to shake my head."
There you go.
I think he'll be shaking his head. Well, we can help you track the winter storm anytime. Take control of the First Alert Defender and zoom into your neighborhood by downloading the WKYT Radar app. And if you should lose power during the storm, remember you can watch our live streaming coverage.
It's always available at WKYT News with our app that's available for your smartphone. Hey, it's good to have you with us on WKYT. The government has released its unemployment report for February. The news is good for the job market. Also, we'll show you the impact that's having on stocks. That's next on Kentucky's #1 midday news. Also ahead, a Hollywood legend, Harrison Ford, being treated for serious injuries at a California hospital after crash landing in a vintage plane. We'll have an update on his condition. It's coming up on WKYT News at noon.